Hello, my name is Brandon Hawkins. I'm doing a presentation for Miss Graham's history class for Bryan College. Here we are in Tunnel Hill, Georgia, in the northwest foothills of Georgia. And through this video, I will be introducing you to a few battlefield spots from the Battle of Tunnel Hill. We will see the railroad tunnel that the Great Locomotive Chase came through. I'll also introduce you to the Clisby Austin House and also the battlefield that the Battle of Tunnel Hill was fought on. The Western and Atlantic Railroad was founded in 1836 to connect the Tennessee and Chattahoochee rivers. However, one barrier stood in northwest Georgia, the Chattageta Mountain. With scaling the mountain being out of the question, tunneling through was the only solution. Construction on the tunnel began in summer of 1848, and with it came an influx of workers. The tunnel, which spans 1,477 feet, was completed in less than 22 months, and on May 9th, 1850, the first Western and Atlantic locomotive passed through to connect Tunnel Hill, Chattanooga, Tennessee, and the new town of Atlanta was complete. While in operation, the tunnel was controlled by both the Union and Confederate armies at various times throughout the Civil War and witnessed the Great Locomotive Chase in April 1862. In my background is the Clisby Austin House. It was constructed in 1848 alongside the Western and Atlantic Railroad tunnel that passes through the Chattageta Mountain. Originally named Meadow Lawn, it was built by Reverend Clisby Austin as a farmhouse that grew to include 320 acres. After Austin left the house during the Civil War, the house was used as an Army field hospital. Officers and generals, like our famous guest, John Bell Hood and William T. Sherman, slept and planned in the second floor bedrooms while doctors treated wounded soldiers and performed amputations in the kitchen and in outdoor tents. In my background is the battlefield of the Battle of Tunnel Hill. To pry the Confederates out of their position on Missionary Ridge, General Ulysses S. Grant planned to attack the Confederate line on both flanks. General Joseph Hooker would strike the southern end of Missionary Ridge, while General William T. Sherman's troops attacked the north end of the Confederate line at Tunnel Hill. On the morning of November 25th, 1863, Sherman launched a series of piecemeal attacks against General Patrick R. Cleburne's division on Tunnel Hill with no success. The display behind me consists of one bent rail and two straight rails from the Civil War era. The bent rail was recovered in August of 2011 from the murky waters of Swamp Creek near the Western and Atlantic Railroad trestle just north of Tilton, Georgia. It is thought the Great Locomotive Chase ran along these very rails on April the 12th, 1862. General John B. Hood's army probably destroyed this rail in October of 1864 when they passed through Tilton on their way to Tennessee. The rail was found and contributed by community-supportive relic hunters. The display depicts a method used during the Civil War that could render a railroad inoperable. The rails would be pried loose from the cross ties and later placed across huge piles of ties that would be set on fire. The center of the rails would be heated red hot so that the mere weight of the end of the rail could cause it to droop, essentially rendering it unusable. These are also known as Sherman's neckties. So here we're actually on the other side of the mountain from Tunnel Hill. We were over in Rocky Face. This is where the Battle of Rocky Face took place. On the other side of the Rocky Face Ridge. So this is a park that is turned in now to a bike trail. And it is newly established, so there's not a lot of memorabilia left or any kind of signs or artifacts, but they are working to preserve some things like that for this park. As you can see, the mountain in the background made it really hard for the soldiers to travel on, so they were just having to find gaps in between Tunnel Hill, Rocky Face, Dalton, on their way to Resaca and eventually into Atlanta.